Alright, what's up everybody? We are on Season 4, Episode 10 of Attack on Titan, which I myself just came off of watching Episode 9. It was nice because it kind of, caught us up on all the events that have been happening, what, the Survey Corps had been up to in these basically 4 years leading up to the, to the fight, of course, that we kind of ended on with Episode 7 and 8. Yeah, at the same time, it did not necessarily make us progress forward or something yet, right? And to truly figure out, okay, what's the plan now? It's constantly mentioned how Zeke, for example, has an idea of how they can free their people. And we know, of course, that we know what the potential is that they have. Like Eren and Zeke together, Eren being the founding Titan, Zeke having the royal blood, they can cause the rumbling that they keep talking about, right? Where... yeah, again, I mean, I basically figured like, okay, they're going to be able to steer all these and control all these titans that are forming the current walls, which is literally millions of them. And so that way pose a real threat. And by a real threat, I mean like a existential threat. It's like literally a nuclear bomb or something you could basically describe it as or something, right? Yeah, once again, like the parallels are so obvious when you really think about them. But that's what they can threaten, people with, or they can actually use it. Now, at the same time, of course, we have a bunch of these very uncertain variables at play, where we know how Zeke doesn't have much longer to go as the Beast Titan. Of course, they have this curse where they can only live for 13 years or whatever, right? And it was mentioned how Zeke is really getting there. So they had to kind of act fast. What is that supposed to be about? They actually just... I think they kind of locked him up, so to say, in the... Levi, I think, called it a forest of giant trees. I remember... So here's the thing, actually, because I thought about that too just now before recording this review. And I don't know if it's a complete sort of sidetrack, irrelevant conversation that I'm having here, but... So first I was thinking, like, is that the same forest that Eren was at together with Reiner and Ymir back in Season 2? It could be that, but then I also realized that, like, actually it was an episode in Season 1 that was called Forest of Giant Trees, and that was when they were fighting with the female Titan, with Annie and stuff, right? Which, speaking of Annie, of course, we saw actually finally, I feel like for the first time, really, since we saw her lock herself up in that crystal or whatever, we saw her back now in the previous episode. So I assume she's going to get back into play here in some type of capacity. But yeah, the forest where they were actually having that fight with with Annie was also a forest of giant trees. I don't know, actually. That could be the same place too, by the way. But yeah, for now it's kind of, again, the question is, where do we go from here, right? And we're dealing with these, the soldiers out of Marley with Yelena, basically. And I still don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly or if it's Yelena or whatever, but she's like... yeah, I mean, she's there basically helping them out. They gave him these injections, which I don't know what they want to use it for. And so basically, again, it was nice to kind of, catch up on everything and see what's been happening. Got a little glimpse at Sasha, which was, sad to see, of course, knowing in hindsight that, she died, of course, in episode 8. But yeah, for now, all we can do is move forward, and that's what we're going to do. So, of course, the next 8 episodes are already up over on Patreon. Over there, you can now watch all the way up until Season 4, Episode 18. So that means that we have actually started the second half of Season 4 over there. You can check those episodes out and catch up right now if you want. Linked on top of the description, of course, along with full-length reactions and OVAs. But yeah, for now, I'm super excited to dive in. Actually, I did not look up what this episode is called. It's called A Sound Argument. Yeah, and the question is, I guess that's relating once again to Zeke and like the argument that he is, or the plan that he has, and whether he has a sound argument, but I would assume so. So let's actually find out what that argument is. Here we go. Right where we left off. Oh, here we go with this again. Because didn't Hanji notice something similar already previously? Isn't like... Was this how he was basically saying like what Eren Kruger was saying? I remember it was like that or something, right?
何って話しに来たんだよ。初めて会った時なんて一晩中巨人について語り明かしたじゃないか。私の一方的な話を君は聞いてくれた。
Yeah, back with the Titan experiments in season 1.
君がヒストリアを犠牲にすることはないって。
2 years ago. Oh shit, we're still going back.
1年前君に船ごと担ぎ上げられて以来ですね。これからよろしくお願いします。港が完成して初めて外国の要人を迎えるのだから。パラディ島唯一の友好国ヒーズル国。その
Oh, wow. Of course she had to come back into place somehow, because they showed her a couple of times, and I assumed for no reason. Or for a reason.
この印は死んだ母の一族から受け継いできたものです。私も自分の子に託すように言われました。
What the hell?
なんとけなげなことでしょう。アズマビト家の御親にあたる我が将軍家子息はフリッツ王家と婚姻にしており、このパラディ
Oh my god, this is getting crazy elaborate.
そして巨人大戦後、ヒーズル国は敗戦国として立場を追われ、あなたは我々が失った一国の主の末裔、ヒーズル国の希望です。
What the hell? The lost descendant?
ねえ、その印なんでエレンだけに見せたの？え？だって手首の包帯誰にも見せなかったじゃない。これはその
なんか嬉しそうだな。
嬉しいんだよ。私たちは生まれのことで重い荷物を背負う者同士なんでしょ。
Yeah, now she has somebody to relate to somewhat.
こんなに頼もしい人いないよ。
この日を迎えられたのは私たちを引き合わせてくれたジーク・イエーガーの存在が不可欠でした。
Thank God for Zeke.
私どもは彼と密会し、ミカサ様への取り次ぎを条件にある取り計らいに賛同しましたことを報告させていただきます。
They just threw this at us completely unexpectedly.
この立体起動装置はパラディ島で開発された巨人を殺す兵器です。しかしこの兵器を動かすにはある特殊な燃料が必要です。それを彼らは氷爆石と呼んでいました。未だパラディ島以外では採掘されたことがない未知の地下資源です。
Okay, so they can't make these things work where they are at.
自分の計画に協力するなら傾いた国家が大国に返り咲くほどの産業を手にするでしょうと提案してきたのです。
私は出汁に使われただけでは。
アズマビトは金の匂いに鋭いから交渉はうまくいくってイエレナが言ってたな。
それでジーク・エーガーとの取り計らいとは一体何でしょうか？
ご存知の通り、ジーク・イエーガーは秘策があると主張し、こちらは地ならしでこの島を守るために必要な3つの過程です。まず1つ目は地ならしの実験的活用。その力の一部を公開し、世界の破壊力を見せつけるのです。この島の軍事力を世界の水準並みに底上げすることが目的です。
This is North Korea all over again. It literally is like a nuclear bomb.
巨人両者の継続的な維持。これが3つ目の過程。ジークは獣の巨人を王家の血を引く者へと継承。その者は13年の任期を可能な限り子を増やすこと。
他の兵器が
Well, get ready, Astoria.
地ならしは強力な兵器だ。継承は繰り返されていく。今私たちが助かるためならこんな解決不可能の問題を未来の子孫たちに残していいのか？
わかりました。私は獣の巨人の継承を受け入れます。地ならしが我々の存続に不可欠である以上は。
Damn, are we actually gonna say goodbye to Zeke soon then?
壁を破壊し蹂躙された挙句、家畜みてえに子供を産まされ殺されて、ジーク・イエーガーの計画は到底受け入れられません。あらゆる選択を模索するのが我々の取るべき最善策ではないでしょうか。
Yeah, but this was actually 2 years before, right? Still, I think.
君と焦燥感を共にしたつもりだった。この島を危機に追い込んだのかがわからない。
Yeah, okay, so he figured
ヒストリアはどうなって
to go a different way about it.
俺は潜水の巨人を食いました。つまり
どれだけ深く固い地下に俺を誘導しても無駄だってことです。俺はいつでも好きな時にここを出られる。当然思想を持つ俺を殺すことも。
Oh my god.
いくら脅したところでジークを殺すわけにもいかない。
Holy
教え
shit.
てくださいよ、ハンジさん。他のやり方があったら教えてくださいよ。
Yo.
いまだに反抗期かよバカ若者
Man, Aaron is turning himself against everybody.
エルヴィンあんたの唯一の失策だ。なんで私なんか団長にしたんだよ。
中に入ろう、ヒストリア。もっと体をいたわらないと。
She's pregnant already?
それがまさかガキを起こしらえ遊ばされるただ。所詮は下船の身に過ぎない名ばかりの女王様ってことだ。
おい、やめろ。同じ地で生まれた青年だ。
Who was it?
女王に石を投げつけていたらしい。構って欲しかったようだ。
Well, that sounds familiar.
孤児院を手伝っていたのも罪悪感からだと。
女王がなぜ今身勝手な行為に及んだのかだ。誰かが助言したんだ。妊娠しちまえば巨人にされずに済むと。家で何違いない。あの女は一番イカれていて頭が切れる危険なやつだからな。今ならまだ間に合う。身をもだろうと巨人にしちまえば。
ただでさえ出産は命の危険が伴うというのに。
その
This is once again a lot to take in.
おい、もう一本持ってこい、マネージ。
かしこまりました。
グリーズ。ニコロ。おすすめはこいつだろ。
Oh, what? What? Are they poisoning them or what are they doing?
これはやらなきゃいけないことなのか。いや、
バカがあんなことを言い出さなければな。これなら体も鍛えられるし、島の開発も進むって。
いやー、この暑い中ご苦労様だよ。
いや、俺たちはこのバカの護衛で仕方なく。
たった今アズマ人から返事が来た。
それで
ダメだった。ヒーズル国は取り付く島もないようだ。やはりヒーズルはパラディ島の資源を独占取引したいのだから、他国との貿易に協力などしない。
じゃあ俺たちは地ならしに頼るしかなくて、ヒストリアの犠牲は避けられないってことですか。
そうなる。
そんなこちらの意図も計らず。
Okay, so this is why Aaron figured, fuck that, I'm getting Zeke.
平和になる道を
Right?
考えられないんだ。私たちが何者かわからないから恐れている。
だから会いに行こう。わからないものがあれば理解しに
This is seriously a lot to take in, man. I've been silent this entire episode. Because I'm just paying attention and trying to figure it all out. It's crazy.
そんなこと考えてたんですね。胃薬と歯ブラシと故郷の味を何か。
And more Sasha as well, yeah.
僕たちが平和を望んでいることを世界が知れば何かが変わるかもしれない。
もう少し時間があればな。俺の寿命は5年とあと少ししかね。
Okay,
そろそろ決めなきゃいけない。俺の巨人の継承者。
yeah, okay. And so 2 years later, he would have 3 years to go in the present timeline.
お前じゃダメだろ。アッカーマン家が何なのかまだ分かってねえんだ。
じゃあ他に誰が。
俺だ。まず俺はエレンより
I don't think they're giving it to you, Jean.
立ち狂って死に急ぐようなこともなく、いついかなる状況でも優れた判断力を発揮できる。
Oh my god. I'm sure he believes that.
お前は兵団の指導者とか目指せよ。エレンの巨人は俺が継ぐから。なあ、それがいいだろ、エレン。
あなたはバカなんですよ。
え
じゃなくて、バカにそんな重要なことを任せられるわけないじゃないですか。
Yo.
私が継ぎますよ。
Yeah, about that,
実践経
Sasha.
験もあって信頼できるのも私たちくらいなら。
いや、それはおかしいだろ。
え？
いや、だからバカには任せられないって。
I see what this is about. This is just throwing shots to each other the whole time. Okay.
お前。
I can't with these scenes sometimes, man. I'm like, what is the purpose of this? Except to make me laugh, obviously. Yeah. I want you to have long lives, man. I'm starting to fear for Connie and Joel now too, in all honesty.
どうすんだよこの空気をよ。
夕日のせいだよ。みんな赤くなってるからさ。
そうか。夕日なら仕方ねえよ。義勇兵の拘束か。まさかピクス司令がそんな強硬策に出るとはな。そして突然ジークの計画に乗ったエレン。ジークと接触して何を話したのか。そうは本人たちにしかわからない。
Are we still gonna see that too?
お前らにはあれがエレンに見えたか。俺は違うと思う。
Oh, they're noticing how it's changing, right? Yeah, okay.
もしあいつが俺たちじゃなく。
Oh man, we getting evil Eren in there.
俺たちは奴を切る覚悟をしておく必要が。
Holy shit.
お前もそっちにつくのかよ。
Well, Mikasa is just always siding with Eren.
そんなことにはならないと思う。エレンは誰よりも私たちを思っている。みんなも分かっているはず。
それは違うぞ。かつてのあいつはいくらお前が強くても前線から遠ざけようとするやつだった。だがアルミンに軍港を破壊させ、お前を戦場に呼んだ。あいつが大事だと言った俺もコニーもサシャもだ。
Yeah, he did say I want you to have long lives, and that didn't pan out that way.
実際、私たちが行かなければ。
ミカサ、サシャが死んだ時エレンはどうしたと思う？
Interesting, yeah, how they're reflecting on that. Literally the conversation that we saw, basically.
悔しがったと思うか？
コニー、よせ。
笑いやがった。説明してくれよ、ミカサ。なんでエレンは笑ったのか？
Was he?
エレンのことは何でもわかるんだろう。
I feel like he was just shocked, but maybe I'm remembering it wrong.
僕とミカサと3人だけで。
もしジークと同じ目的だったら。
巨人化の薬を入手した兵団には他の誰かを巨人にしてエレンの始祖を継承する選択だ。
I figured this is where it was gonna go, yeah. Oh my god, man, so much food for thought. Alright, well, it's nice knowing that I'm not the only one who is kind of in the dark about what exactly Eren is up to then and what his plan really is. I mean, it's literally what his friends basically talk about here at the end of the episode, of course, that like, they're not even sure if they can really trust him anymore, right? And it's so, yeah, you know, just interesting to see the comparisons between, again, like how Eren used to basically talk to them and stuff, right? And now they're seeing like, again, Eren had that line in there, right? Like, I want you guys to live as long as possible. I'm here, you know, you're my friends. I want you to be happy, I guess, and to just, you know, live, the ultimate lives you can live, basically, I guess. But then what they're seeing now in the current timeline is a completely different reality, where, of course, Sasha just died as a consequence of Eren's choices. And so, you know, I mean, you're seeing his behavior change and how he's, like, basically threatening Hanji in that scene, right? And you're just all in all noticing behavior of him that is just like odd, right? And it makes you question, well, what are his intentions and what is he trying to accomplish here? And like, I have no idea myself, you know? I mean, again, this is the thing that the show does all the time. It's like, I feel like I always want to get everything, but I have to always simply accept that I can't. And that I have to, you know, for now, just simply, yeah, again, accept the fact that, like, I won't be able to figure it out yet until later on. And so, you know, this is the other thing, right? It's like we're hearing a lot about sort of the time leading up to the where we are right now in the timeline. And so, you know, there's suddenly kind of a new plot that comes out of nowhere where Mikasa is actually like a descendant of the leader of this Hizuru. I hope I'm saying that right, by the way. Nation, I guess it is, right? And this is this is where that woman came back into play, of course, who we saw in a couple of scenes already previously in season 4. So now it all starts making sense. You know, that's the interesting part to me as well, is like, I figured like, okay, so I guess they do figure that it's not necessarily the whole world that has to be their enemy. It's basically just like Marley, right? Like, okay, if they can get rid of Marley, then because like historically, this is also like the wedge that was always there was between the Eldians and the Marlians, right? It's not necessarily the other nations. I guess they can still be of help to them or something. I mean, that's what I question about. Can that actually be the case? Or will they figure in the end, like, no, we're only really going to be free if it's just us, literally, right? But yeah, I mean, we're learning now that Mikasa is like a descendant of this and this kind of... I don't even know if she ever talked about that weird like symbol that she had on her wrist. If that's something that we learned about earlier in the show, but I feel like we didn't. But again, I could be wrong. I mean, it would not surprise me that this is something we have been seeing actually at some point way early in the show or something. I mean, it does this all the time. I remember in season 2 that I wasn't even remembering some of the scenes we saw with Amir back in season 1. And I actually went back to watch this. I'm like, oh yeah, we definitely did see it there. So it was all planned out and stuff, right? I mean, again, like, that's what I wonder about. Like, did we actually get this teased already previously or not? But yeah, they talk about how there was sort of this original plan that they'd been leading up to. And, Zeke was trying to kind of negotiate through this woman of the Hazoru nation and whatever, right? And like, he kind of had a plan where he wanted to use the rumbling... to like, I mean, they talked about sort of like test runs, right? And again, the parallels there to sort of nuclear war and nuclear missiles and everything. It's like, man, it's just, it's hilarious if it wasn't so almost scary. You know what I mean? For the most part, to me, it's just hilarious. But still, it's like, and Zeke had this sort of these demands, I guess, right? Where he was talking about like, okay, I will pass down my powers to, or you'll need to pass my powers down to Historia, but then Historia also needs to get lots of kids so that they continue the royal bloodline and stuff for sure, right? And at the same time, we're seeing that Eren actually didn't agree with these plans, and so therefore, I find it fascinating how Eren in the end actually did get Zeke now. And again, I wonder what that's about. And so, what is up his sleeve, right? And what does he figure right now? That's just overall the main question. I'm sure, again, like there's other details I can get out of this, but for now, it was just sort of a lot to take in, and I think I'm just going to leave it here, and I'm just going to kind of think it through more, maybe watch the episode a second time, wait for some input from patrons, because I always like that, because it kind of makes me able to think things through a little bit more, so I can be as in control as I possibly can be again by the time I start watching the next episode. That's always how I like going into these. Like, I want to make sure that I'm not going to watch an episode if I'm not completely sure that I've sort of gotten all the information necessary out of what I've previously seen. And so I'll be waiting a little bit here as usual. And then we're simply going to continue with, like with the next episode again, next time. But for now, of course, those next 8 episodes will already be up over on Patreon if you're watching on YouTube. We'll be 8 episodes ahead, so like 2 episodes, I think, into the second half of season 4. So go check that out. It's linked on top of the description, of course. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell if you hadn't already. On Patreon, you can get those next 8 episodes along with full-length reactions and OVAs, of course. But for now, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Very much appreciated. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you back in the next one.